thanks for joining us. Welcome to another edition of These Old Cars. Here's some cars that are not quite so old. We're in upstate New York, the Catskill Mountains, and on the right you have a 2014 Ariel Atom 3.5. That is a K-Series, Honda K-Series supercharged motor, 5-speed transmission, and it's pretty much factory original. All the add-ons or the wings and carbon fiber and, extra wheels and wing kits and all kinds of stuff like that. Incredible little mid-engine car that was originally a student project that was made itself to fruition with some angel funding, and they ended up producing them. This is produced by TMI in Virginia, was built, custom built by a gentleman, and this is kind of an unusual thing with these cars. Not a lot of them came like this, but there's the guy's name, Robert Colley. He was the assembler, and I've talked to him. He's a very interesting guy. And each car was hand assembled. Took about 6 months to do each car, and they would have a bay and all the parts, and they were involved in everything from powder coating to final assembly and fitting. You could get it in a number of colors. This one is kind of orange, but you could get it in any color. But that's the only color on the car, was that. So K-Series, supercharged. Everything is Honda, so it's like super reliable. I mean, it's the kind of car you drive it to the track, run it on the track, and then drive it home. This one has about 2,000 miles on it. Excellent shape. Obviously, it's mid-engine layout, exoskeleton. That was the thing that was so groundbreaking about these cars. Everything in it is just super well. It has telemetry, it's got data logging, and those were all add-ons that you could get. You can get like a super high-end shock system, probably got $6 or $7 grand for the shocks. These are the mid-level shocks. They're all inboard. It's all like Formula One technology. Two radiators up in the nose. Each one of these houses a little radiator. It's one radiator, I don't forget now. But the nose comes off, that's where the battery is, and basically the heart of all the electronics. There's really not a lot to it. Comes without a windscreen like this. This car is like a road legal car. So that windscreen is an add-on from Ariel. The normal screen has two little plexiglass screens down below, and obviously no windshield wiper or anything like that. This has turn signals, lights, high, low, all that stuff. So Ariel Atoms are relatively well known among the racing community. We also have an example here, another one of my cars, which is a Velocity Contour. 2017, same kind of idea. The gentleman that built this in Denver, Colorado, had dune buggies as a kid, and he thought the dune buggies were extremely underpowered, wanted something that was a little more modern. They built a prototype with a Volkswagen turbocharged 4-cylinder motor and transmission, and then after that they had the option of having either a LS1 motor, or this one has the Audi V8. So this has the Audi V8 with the Porsche 5-speed. You can get the 6-speed also. This has the 5-speed. This car is very original, meaning that all the things that it came with from the factory, and these are factory cars, couldn't build this yourself, although he's told me he did sell one frame, and it's to a guy in upstate New York, and I am in upstate New York, and him and I have been conversing back and forth a bit. He's doing his car with fenders and a bunch of other stuff, but once again, exoskeleton. Just look at the Atom and you'll see the brotherhood here. A little bit shorter wheelbase, maybe only an inch or two, but once again, fuel tank up front, Corvette wheels and tires, 19 in front, 20 in the rear. The Ariel Atom has, I believe, 16s in the front, 17s in the rear. They're staggered in size-wise. There you go. There's the Audi V8. Great rumble, has a great sound to it. Nice layout. I mean, it really looks super aggressive. There's a bunch of different configurations for the exhaust system. There was headers into a single dual. There was headers into dual duals. I guess it was as exotic as you wanted to get. A lot of the suspension came from the Volkswagen family, although the hubs and carriers and stuff are, I believe, Corvette. Um, Seats pretty much all original. So all the signage and everything, you don't see this too much. Although this car only has, I think this thing only has, once again, around 2,200 miles on it, maybe even less than that. Um, so like the seats were all embroidered, and the shift knob has the logo in it, as does the steering wheel. I don't know if you can see it, but there you go. Minimal gauges, but what you need. This one had a stereo added to it, not something that I would have done, but it was done when I got it. QA1 suspension all the way around. Obviously disc brakes, no power steering, no power brakes. It's really like it's a road animal. This one has a top, which most of them don't have a top, but the previous owner lived in a shore community and wanted to get out of the sun, which is good for me. So it has a roll down top, a roll up top. The additional spats in the side were added, these lower snap-on spats. He told me he lost his iPhone like 6 or 7 times, and then he decided he was going to add those spats to the side of it. So it's a beautiful car. I mean, from the rear, it's got a great aggressive look. A little more rounded than a little more narrower and a little more rounded than the Ariel Atom, but in its own right, a beautiful design, very well executed. Small changes, run changes, like different tail lights, but basically the chassis were all exactly the same. The Volkswagen, or you get the LS one, you could take this out and put an LS one right in there. All electronic, all the electrics are beyond that little box, and that huge radiator creates a bit of heat, in the summertime. My friend has one in Arizona. Hi, Chris. And he says that it gets a little bit hot, and he's put a plexiglass screen behind the rear window, and it keeps the turbulent air from getting sucked back into the compartment. Gas tanks up front, as I said. It's not huge, maybe 10 gallons, not sure. It's aluminum. But fully road legal. Great little car. Once again, very rare. They only made 53 over the course of maybe 5 years, maybe. Then he sold the company. I've been in touch with the gentleman who bought the company, and they're supposedly coming out with a new Exo. It may not be called the Exo, but it's going to be along the same lines. So that will remain to be seen. I believe he's involved in racing, so he did buy the patents and all the mills and tools and dyeing to make the car, but I don't believe any have been made since he purchased them. But then once again, you have two really cool road cars, whether you're just scooping around the Catskills or you want to go up to a driving day. Definitely great little cars. Obviously Ariel Atom is a little more set up as a race car, and with commensurate speed. I'd say top end, probably the Exo is probably a little faster. I think the Ariel Atom, after you hit about 100, 125, it's going to top out, because aerodynamically, I don't think it's as slippery as some of the other cars. But in any event, there you go. That's two really nice little Exo mid-engine cars that are hiding right up in the Catskills here, and we love driving them. I hope you've enjoyed watching them. Be good.